Hi friends, I just wanted to pop in and say hello and wish you all well and wish you a great weekend, and wanted to just reach out and say I hope you're maintaining some sort of sanity in all of this insanity. I know it's been challenging for us to be have so much togetherness over the last couple of weeks, but we're maintaining, and I hope you are too, and I hope you're able to enjoy the sunshine and some of the simpler things. I wanted to pop in because I wanted to help dispel some of this misinformation that I have personally seen, and I know I'm in the industry, so I probably see more of it, but some of this misinformation that has been floating around the internet and in news articles and just, basically everywhere. And we all have so much time to look at it, right? But I wanted to dispel a couple of things, and then I wanted to also just provide you with a little bit of data about what's happening in the market, the real estate market in Salt Lake, and just let you know that if you need questions answered regarding the housing market or the value of your home, then I am absolutely here to help. But if you need groceries, or if you need me to pick up a prescription, or if you need, I don't know, me to run to the post office for you, I am available. I am here for you. I will lend a hand however I possibly can. So please, please, please reach out. One of the things I wanted to dispel or chat about was the articles that I saw floating around yesterday regarding evictions and how the governor mandated that no evictions could be made or processed through May 15th, or at least that's what the headlines said. But I just want to make sure that everybody is aware that that's not the case. If a tenant was behind on their rent prior to March 31st, then an eviction absolutely could still go through, and that still can be processed regardless of what's happening. So that order, that governor's order, was very specific to somebody who becomes late on their mortgage, or on their rent in April. It's basically just buying them a couple of weeks so that at least they couldn't be evicted until May 15th. And the reason being is that obviously the unemployment rates have gone up significantly. And so we just wanted to I think the intention was to just buy people a little bit of time to, potentially get that stimulus money and be able to come current. So if you are a tenant, or if you have a tenant, obviously just keep your communication lines open and chat with them and make sure that you know where they're at. And hopefully you can find a workaround if somebody's in that spot. The other thing that I wanted to chat about were the mortgage stories that I've been hearing about. I have so many lenders just on my own Facebook feed that are all doom and gloom, and everything is scary and it's going to fall apart and we need to stay working, and all of this kind of stuff. And I totally understand that fear. I understand where they're coming from, but I don't want anybody to believe right now that you cannot get an FHA loan, because it just simply isn't true. So you absolutely can still get federally backed loans. What happened is, when the stimulus package was released, there were some unintended consequences, and so some of the smaller companies don't have a big enough hedge fund, essentially, to make someone's payment for them if they default on the loan. So what happens with these federal secured loans is that if a borrower can't make that first payment and then doesn't make a payment, that front end mortgager has to carry that loan for 12 months. So that's a long time for a small company. So they may choose not to do FHA loans. They may just choose not to do them right now. But there are large companies that absolutely will choose to continue to do FHA loans. So what they may do is, let's say you had a 620 credit score and you were able to be approved for a loan last week. This week they may come back and say, okay, we want you to have a 660 credit score, and we want you to have 2 months worth of reserves. So 2 months worth of payments in the bank. And we're going to verify your employment multiple times versus just the week, when we take your application in the week before. So they want to, just ensure that you are going to make that payment, because on a federally backed, so FHA, VA, USDA loans, those loans, they would have to make a payment for a year. Now, and then the back end, the servicer. So what typically happens, you get a mortgage and then a servicer will pick it up. Someone is going to buy that loan, and then that's who you actually make your payments to. They have been in a little bit of a pickle because some of these unintended consequences with the stimulus package too. So they don't want to buy, they didn't want to buy as many, and so they some of them backed off and saying, oh well, we don't want to pick up these FHA or VA, USDA loans right now. Conventional loans are still absolutely cool. Everybody's still doing them. So the difference between an FHA and a conventional would be between 3.5% to 5% down, and then you typically have to have closer to a 680 credit score. I am aware of 100% financing through the University of Utah Credit Union. It's an awesome program. I have multiple clients that have used that one. That you do have to have a 680 credit score, and they are still doing loans, and rates right now are really pretty rocking. They were really volatile for a couple weeks, so the lenders out there were kind of hesitant to say, yeah, go ahead and get a loan. So I wanted to make you guys aware of those kinds of things. And then again, I also just want to give you a little bit of data. So I wanted to let you know that the market is still moving. Obviously, we're taking precautions. It's been such a challenge for me personally because I'm like, wow, is real estate really essential? Like, should we really be out there and really be letting people through our clients' homes? And here's the thing that I want you guys to keep in mind. When you buy or sell a house, you're employing at least 27 people. And so that is essential. And if you got transferred, or you lost a spouse, or your spouse lost a job, or you lose a job and you have to sell your house, then absolutely it's essential. So just keep that in mind. It's not about, I hate being like, real estate. It really is just me trying to get in front of people and let everybody know that there's a safe way to do this. There's a responsible way to do this. We can do this if you need to. Obviously, if you don't need to, then wait it out. But there are people that have to move, and there are people who have to buy, and there are always people who are going to need to buy. Even in 2008, when things were really scary, people needed to sell and people needed to buy. But this is not 2008. In 2008, we had a ton of inventory. We don't have inventory now. In 2008, the housing crisis essentially started the recession. It was at the epicenter of it. We had really poor lending practices. When I was working at Hard Rock Homes, we had people come in that I knew didn't make enough money to buy 5 houses, but they had bought 3 houses from the builder next door and 2 from us and 1 from the builder next door. And, that's what created that housing crisis. Right now, we don't have impractical lending practices, and the economy was on really good footing when COVID-19 kind of pulled the rug out from under us. I don't know if that's the best way to phrase it, but the good news is that we'll get back up. We'll do it together. We'll get back up, and things absolutely will bounce back. So when this is over, we can anticipate that housing will get back to where it was. And as of right now, we haven't really seen much of a decline. Just yet today, in Salt Lake County, there were 50 houses that went under contract. In Davis County, there were 20. In Tooele County, there were 3. Now, keep in mind, there's only 194 active homes in Tooele County. In Utah County, there were 51 houses that just went under contract just today. So, we've got 125 buyers out there just today. And that's pretty average. That's a good day for Utah. In Utah as a whole, last year at this time, on this very date, there were 6,851 homes under contract or in backup status. Today, there are 6,853 homes in under contract or backup status on the MLS. So that doesn't include, build jobs, those kinds of things. The thing that has changed is that last year there were 754 homes off market, which means somebody had put their house on a market and then they took it off. Sometimes people do that to paint. There's actually some marketing restrictions for realtors. So if you're not showing a home, you need to be taking it into an off-market status. Today, there are 952. So there are obviously people out there who have just decided that, hey, we're just going to hold off and see how this goes. So that has changed. But in terms of the numbers and in terms of values right now, we're just, you know, it's just kind of really close to where we were last year in terms of under contracts and in terms of how things are moving. And this is just sort of a day by day, week by week kind of thing. Values are still holding. I wouldn't suggest right now listing your house for where we thought it would have been come spring. We'll just have to take a look at what's actually sold and how recent it has sold and go from there. And that's really what's going to change that value. So right now, values are good. If this thing lasts 60 or 90 days and nothing sells, then we'll just have to reevaluate that. But we don't anticipate it being super detrimental. And one thing that I absolutely want people to understand is that we've had 5 recessions in the last, 40 years. 3 of them, housing actually increased. So housing values in the housing market actually increased. Obviously 2008, that wasn't the case. And that's the one that's most recent and what's on people's mind. But it's not 2008. And even if it was, we'd be here for you. I'm here to help. I'm here to answer any questions. So stay strong, stay healthy. And if you need anything at all, please, please, please reach out. Talk to you soon.